to destroy this motherfucking place, man, and these wicked ass demons. You see? No more, no less. Okay? So this confirmed the curses first rested on Israel. Enemies receiving curses means a transfer, not cancellation. Persecution identified who Israel was during the captivity. Reversal only happens after awareness and turning back. See, we've been turning back. That's why the Lord is coming after our enemies now. It said this aligns with the people waking up, see, not prospering in Babylon. Economic and social collapse precede restoration, not the other way around. The book I'm reading, Diagnosis, the condition, this verse explains the causes and the outcome. Okay, so I'm gonna read a couple pages, and then I'm gonna bring out some precepts. Okay, economic and social political problems of African Americans, Afro-American. This is what they got it. It said it's an introduction. It said with many problems confronting the black people in America, the economic problem is probably foremost in importance because it concerns survival, meeting the bill payments. Later in this book, I shall deal with the social and political behavior of the black people in America. In chapter 3, I shall convey my reason why I believe the black man is trapped in a state of terrible social decay. Afterward, I shall give my solution to our manifold problems. In the meantime, I shall analyze first of all the negative behavior of the Afro-Americans in the economic sector. It said because of increasing rate of unemployment among Afro-Americans, especially the youth, and rapid immigration and Orientals, Koreans, Laotians, and Vietnamese to America, it behoves me to explain some of the reasons black people do not own more businesses and have a higher rate of employment. Okay, the black people in this country don't control more businesses because of their false orientation and negative thinking. It said, as a man thinketh, so is he. Gradually, after many years, I have experienced and learned that events and things in this world just don't happen by accident, but are caused by man, who is under the influence of the universal divine presence. Where there is an action or deed, there will be sooner or later a reaction. This is the universal law. For example, if you plant a seed in fertile soil and it gets proper rain and sunshine, the reaction is germination, growth. If you beat a child constantly without demonstrating love, the reaction will be fear and hostility. So after the black man had been turned away from the umbilical cord of Mother Africa, brought to America, and divested of his true history, culture, and language, some of the black leaders directed and steered the black masses toward the road of assimilation and extreme integration in every hostile aspects of American life, rather than directing the black people to construct their own thriving communities and businesses. The psychological reaction of this kind of leadership took shape in a maniacal fever. Integration meant for blacks uniting with the white race in politics, businesses, and social entertainment. But black people had no bargaining power. White was right. It was the best and no less. So people thought the integration mania grew in such great proportions that black people unaware of their glorious history believed that to be black or dark skinned meant to be inferior. The saying from 1900 through the late 1950 was, if you are black, get back. Aside from the Moorish American, some Muslims, Garbyites, and the black Hebrew Israelites, most black Americans believe in integration at any price, even at the cost of others. It said even at the cost of their, even at the cost of their lives at the hands of the Ku Klux Klan. The most black people integration meant riding in the front seat or train of buses, eating and sleeping in white restaurants and hotels, going to white theaters and movies. It said, and work in any and all kinds of white businesses in order to be around white people with the purpose of dating and sleeping with them. Okay, with this kind of self-hatred and integration fever spreading like wildfire, the reaction of black masses were obvious. They thought, we don't want to establish any black businesses. We only want to work in the white ones and advance up into the white society. Many years ago, I overheard a black man saying, if we establish black businesses, we shall be segregating ourselves. This is the fundamental reason why so few black people have business in America. However, there are also other reasons. The second reason that there aren't many black businesses is that there is no tradition. The passing down of the businesses from father to son, like you find among other groups. For example, the Italians have got Old Dano and Son. The Jewish people have Levine and Sons, and the Irish have Daugherty and Sons. This is not to say that some black don't have their businesses down to their children, hand down their businesses to their children, okay? But in proportion to other ethnic groups, blacks don't have many businesses to hand down. Another reason is that blacks are conditioned to the work hours of 9 to 5, and in the beginning to be successful, most small businesses must be open for at least 12 to 16 hours. In addition, many small businesses don't require a lot of money, but require a reinvestment of the profits. That is the turning over of the money you make back into the business. Many people can't not afford to do this, especially if they have support. It said, hold on, let me go back. It said, especially if they have to hire help and have many others expenses. In this case, family support is necessary. Lastly, many blacks do not enter the business world because they feel that it is a white man's domain or the domain of other ethnic groups. So that's where we at, man. This is what's been going on. Like I said, you had Rosewood. Like I said, you had Rosewood, and Rosewood, you had Black Wall Street, and man, they were thriving, man. They were, hey, man, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, they were doing better than some of them white folks, so-called white folks. Man, them people, them people hated that. They hated that, man. So them people had to find a way to go in there and destroy them, and it came up with a false accusation. And them brothers coming back from the war, man, they weren't having that shit, man. Them brothers had seen war. They weren't no punks. White boy come over there trying to take shit, man. Listen, them brothers put one in their ass. So that's how they destroyed Black Wall Street, man. They listen. I got to find that video where that brother went in. I'm gonna try to find that video, and I'm gonna play that in this segment, y'all. So bear with me here. I'm gonna pause this and find that video. Hold on. Hey, we finna go hard. Y'all got something to work with. So hey, let's go in. I'm gonna spend these next two lessons gonna be on Black Wall Street. Well, then we gonna drift in the book and Valley of Dry Bone, and when I find receipts. And that's why this devil, he trying to destroy the history of this double history. Fucking DJ Trump removing stuff that they oppressed us at. Evidence. Okay, but hold on here. We're gonna keep going. There's some things over here they did over here in Minnesota, over there in Duluth, man. They hung them I'm gonna find that too. On that Front Street, that's where I used to hustle at when I was in the world, go down on Front Street over there and me and my man, we used to go down there, when we was down there, when we was in town, when we go up there to party to Superior, and me and my man, we would go over there and go to Front Street, and one day we was going getting ready to go out of town. That's when KMOJ, they had this brother name, I think his name Ron, I forget his name, Ron something. He was doing, and before we went, we were going. Now to listen to his podcast. His name, I forgot his name. I don't know if he's still around. I think his name was Ron Edwards. He used to have these talk shows come on, and I used to sit back and listen to him, And he was going into what they did over here to them brothers over there in Duluth, man. They hung them brothers up on a light pole, man, and burnt their bodies, man, and cutting off their penis and shit. And then them called of Karen, talking about he whistled at her or something, like they did Emma Tip. Okay. So yeah, let me bring out some more scripture. So right now, the Lord is reversing these curses. Let's read Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 7 again. It said, and Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, thy power will put all these curses upon thy enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecute thee. Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 7. So this verse confirmed the curses first rested on Israel. Enemies receiving curses mean a transfer, not a cancellation. And that's what we're seeing right now. Persecution identifies who Israel was during captivity, see? And to this day, now, like I said, the Lord is reversing the curses now. That come from a lot of our people with their great awakening. A lot of our people waking up and coming back to the Lord's ways. Okay? And that's beautiful. It says, reversal happens after awareness and turning back. This aligns with the people waking up, not prospering in Babylon, see? So economic and social collapse precedes restoration, not not the other way around. The book I'm reading from diagnoses the conditions. This verse explains the cause and outcome. So this scripture validates Winsler's observation without fully naming it. Divine law violates punishment, enforced correction underway. So whenever, hold on, let me see. I'm gonna go down a little bit here. It said, so the economic condition of African Americans is a direct reflection of spiritual, social, and historical disconnection. False orientations, assimilation, and integration fever have prevented the establishment of thriving Black businesses. Leadership that ignored true identity created psychological reaction that produced dependency and self-hatred. The lack of tradition in business and the inability to reinvest profits perpetuate poverty and economic instability. This is not accidental. The scriptures, prophecies, and universal divine law explain these outcomes. Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 43, and it reads, the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail, see? So this passage directly mirrors what Winsler described. Others controlling commerce while Israel struggles. The stranger represent immigrants and other ethnic groups rising economically while the so-called African Americans and in other Israelite groups, people was diminishing or non-existent, fall behind being the tail, see? Show lack of power, lack of inheritance, and inability to control wealth, dependent on others' businesses rather than building your own, fulfills this prophecy. Integration without bargaining power further cements the tail position, confirming scripture economic oppression will never random. So economic oppression was never random. It is a covenant punishment for disobedience. The book explained the human reasoning. The scriptures explain the divine cause. Okay, now we're finna go into Tulsa, Oklahoma thing. I wanted to find that one about that brother, man. He was debating that police officer about I can't think of the name of the title, but it'll come to me. But anyway, let's watch some of this video. About five minutes of it. Hold on, y'all, bear with me here. See, they don't like us to bring up this past. They want to forget about it, but and continue to spit out this madness, man, on our people, man.
A false report led to destruction of my community.
What the white mob burned down was the Greenwood District, the prosperous black neighborhood in North Tulsa. It was known then as Black Wall Street, a nickname given by Booker T. Washington. There were theaters, hotels, grocery stores, barbershops, and beauty salons, all of them black-owned.
Hold on here.
They destroyed it because out of...
Hold on, y'all. Bear with me here. Let me do this here. This not the one I wanted to show y'all. Let me find it.
In the early 1900s, deep in the heart of Tulsa, Oklahoma, there was a neighborhood unlike any other, Greenwood, a place so prosperous, so self-sufficient, that it was known as Black Wall Street. Founded in 1906 by O.W. Gurley, a wealthy black landowner, Greenwood became a haven for black entrepreneurs, doctors, lawyers, and business owners. At a time when racial segregation was the law of the
Oklahoma had 45 black towns and municipalities. It was capital of black self-determination. Black people came for the same reason as whites, for new possibility. They saw in Tulsa an opportunity for business. Tulsa itself was a boomtown.
The reason was in 1905, an oil well wildcatter discovered the Glen Pool, which was the richest small oil field in the entire world.
And so when the city began to boom because of oil, it just drew more people.
These professionals and merchants in these smaller all-black towns, they then migrated to Tulsa. They're coming by train, they're coming by wagon, they're walking, they're getting there any way that they can. And as this city of Tulsa goes from this sleepy cow town into something else, and there's a part of the city in the northeastern corner that becomes the primary African-American settlement, known as Greenwood.
I liken it to a city within a city. Greenwood itself is an area of nearly 40 square blocks, with individual neighborhoods, individual churches that have their own parishes.
About 40 to 45 blocks of a residential community with a business district.
Greenwood community was staked out by a fellow named O.W. Gurley, who really is the father of the Greenwood district and established the first business there in 1906.
Gurley was a very community-focused, visionary leader who saw in Greenwood, the promise of creating a community where Black people could flourish.
O.W. Gurley and J.B. Stratford, they worked together and they had a specific intent to make African Americans wealthy, landowners, entrepreneurs. They both knew what the state of Oklahoma was offering. They knew that they needed to be very intentful in creating.
Okay, let's go back here. I want to show that part where they were fighting at. Hey, I can go deep off into it and do some series on it. I might just do that. Cause this is like 3 hours and 4 minutes long, boy. And I know some Julian Bond. I think he was a historian. And go into that. But I wanted to find that. I was trying to find that one part on there about where they was talking about where they were debating these two. They was going in. They were going in on it. And he said, man, listen, the first time he was going, the first terror, I can't think of that, the first terror here in America was Black Wall Street. He was going in on dude. I want to find that on this land, on this soil. I might have to label it another way. But anyway, let's keep going to the lesson. And get another precept. And then I'm just gonna go set my other camera up and then my other phone up, and we're gonna go into it. Then I still got that one about the Muslim thing. I ain't finished that off. Let me see here. I want to bring out a couple more scriptures. And see, the thing is, our people like faith right now, and you know, faith requires action and covenant obedience. See, we got to come back to the covenant. And many people are deceived into thinking salvation comes through passive beliefs. See, but Yahweh Hashem Yahushua requires covenant engagement, not mere observation. Absent teaching and righteous action are proof of true faith. See, idleness allows the enemy's system and delusion to flourish unchecked. True remnant behavior is active, not passive. It moves towards covenant goals. See, man, that's what we doing, starting with the elder apostles and bishops and like-minded men on down myself. They get James chapter 2, verse 20. It says, but wilt thou know, O vain man, that faith without works is dead? So, man, we got to be doing this work. Okay? It said, O vain man, directly calls out those relying on appearances or idle belief, which when we go into this here, that's, you know, this is what happened to our people, man. They, you know, it's not saying that we was, you know, we could build businesses, but right now, that was the right time, but it wasn't going to flourish, it wasn't going to pass because of this devil. This devil was going to find a way to make sure we don't have nothing, you know? But this is how the Lord set this devil up to be, because he's the wicked. Job 9:24, let's get that. Ain't no way out of it, ain't no way around it. Job chapter 9, verses, I'm going to start at 23. I'm going to start at 22. It said, this is one thing. Therefore I said, he destroyed the perfect. He destroyed the perfect with the wicked. And the wicked. Okay, this passage, we're going to do each one of them separately. I'm going to break them down, then we're going to close with a prayer. So Job chapter 9, verses 22. So the passage captured the raw condition of the afflicted and oppressed, where justice seemed perverted and power rests in the wrong hands. It said Job is wrestling with the fact that sometimes the wicked appear to prosper while an innocent suffer without cause. And this is what happened in Black Wall Street. This mirrors the economic, social, and political condition that I'm describing or identifying in the Israelite experiences. It said divine law does not authorize chaos, rather it permits temporary judgment and testing for correction. So understanding this helps explain why oppression can seem victorious before restoration comes, see? So this is one thing, therefore it is said, he destroyed the perfect and the wicked, if not scourges slay suddenly, he will laugh at the trial of the innocent. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Okay? He covered the faces of the judges thereof, and if not, and where and who is he, see? So let's go into this thing. It said, so Job is observing a world where the wicked seems to dominate the righteous, and the righteous suffer is indiscriminately. He destroyed the perfect and the wicked, points to the unpredictable execution of judgment in this life. The scourge that slays suddenly reflects trials and suffering that comes without warning. So to Job, it seems as though the wicked have control of the earth and its system. Covered the faces of the judges, described how justice appear hidden or denied. This parallels how so-called Israelites have been oppressed politically and socially and economically, but Scripture later revealed that there is temporary. It said that this is temporary.